Welcome. Good evening. Good night. Some people it's good
How
evening.
is it going, our magnificent sons of bitches? Yes, I stole a line from Polson.
Yeah, we stole one from you posting on that one. So yeah, me and Mel are here. It's a nightcap with the Williams. I know it says late night talk, but it's just a nightcap. We were going to do this on Facebook but Mel doesn't want to be on camera tonight, so we are going live on here instead. For those of you who just saw, there was the FWE's Nitro episode one. Came and went. I hope everybody enjoyed the show, and we'll be having episode two coming in soon. We are also got a lot of good things going on. One of the best things that's going on, probably the most popular thing that's going on, is June 24th. June 24th, 2011, on a Friday, me and Mel got married. And this June 24th is actually on a Friday.
Yep.
So we are celebrating 11 years. 11 years of
being married to each other.
yes. Um,
I mean, we've been together longer than that, but we've been married to each other for 11, 11
we've been together
years.
for what, 18, 19 years?
It hasn't been 19, but it's been,
We've known each other for that long.
we've known each other for about 18 years,
Yes.
17, 18 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So people have always wondered, what is a big key into a marriage?
Everybody's different. See, a lot of people ask what is the key to your marriage? There is no key.
Mm-mm.
And I'll tell you why. Because every marriage is different from the next.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that tries to compare themselves, like their marriages or their relationships to other marriages, are in for a big surprise. And I'll tell you why. Because everybody is unique and different in their own way. So don't ever try and compare, be like, how do you make your marriage work? Well, every marriage is different. We have our ups and downs. We have our moments where we're wonderful, and other times we want to kill each other. But that's just marriage, okay? But there is no. I can't even. When some people say, like, "What's your success story?" I don't even think there is a success story to this. Is there?
No, there's not a success story at all. Mainly, the biggest thing that and we're not perfect by any means. Nobody in a relationship is perfect. If they tell you they're perfect, they are lying to you, and they're not perfect. Any person that comes on video and they have their significant other with them and they're smiling, they're happy, they're laughing, 9 times out of 10 that's a fake. And
I wouldn't say
what-
that it's necessarily
it's some parts.
a fake,
In some parts.
but not relationships. Every relationship has their issues. Every relationship has their ups and downs. But we have had people who have tried comparing themselves to our relationship, and I look at it like, you are your own person. You are your own. You have.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own thing going on. So whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Well, here's the biggest thing. The biggest thing that we do is when one is upset at the other. Now, we've made mistakes before where we tried to poke the stick and poke the bear at each other, and that's never turned out good for neither one of us. But the one thing we do, though.
Well, I genuinely don't try and poke the stick or try and poke the bear. That's for damn sure. But I mean.
Well, I'm saying is the best thing to do, though, in any situation is communication. That is one of the biggest things that a lot of people in this world lack. In this day and age, a lot of people lack communication. People are afraid to tell the truth of how they feel about somebody. Instead, they will say, "Oh yeah, that's a really cool thing." If you don't think it's cool, say something. The problem is a lot of people are worried about hurting people's feelings, and I know mental health is a very big thing.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why marriages and relationships fail is because of that. It's because, some people, maybe the partner that's in the relationship
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know how to communicate to the other person that's having the problem. So therefore they not shut down, but they take it, with a grain. They it's like they're in quicksand,
Yes. Yeah.
and that's not how it should be. But then again, how are you supposed to be able to talk to the person that's having an issue if you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time?
There's some there. I go through, and I've been doing this off and on ever since. I guess I can go ahead and say a kid, but off and on, I've been battling mental health for God knows how long. Um, Sometimes the battles are good, sometimes the battles are not so good. The one thing, though, that I know for a fact, and the one thing that I think if you have a partner, and this goes out to a man or a woman, or if you are in a relationship with a girl and you're a girl, whichever the case may be, this goes for anybody. If you're in a relationship and your partner is going through something mentally and they've been going through it for a while, yes, it's always great to be honest with them, but it's also good to let them know that they're not alone in this battle, and let them know that they're loved and that you love them. You're there with them. You're battling with them. The reason why I'm able to go through my battles the way I do is because I have a partner that battles with me, and a lot of people don't have that, and it's a very good thing. If you feel good, wow, I got someone that will go to battle with me who will put on the shield and the sword and will be like, all right, let's go battle this. Let's battle this together. And some people have always asked, well, some people have asked me, you know, what do you do for mental health? What's the first thing you do? First thing you do is you have to admit you have a problem. That's the first thing. First and foremost, you have to admit you have a problem. Second thing is you have to seek help for that problem. Now, I know there's some people out there that are like, I don't want to take pills, I don't want to take meds, and I'm one of them. I'm not gonna lie, but just talking to your significant other and talking to a therapist, you will notice a very big difference on when an attack happens, when a panic attack happens, when you're stressed out, anything else. You know when to shut it down before it happens. And a lot of people don't get that kind of power or grace with it. It's still not easy with me. I am not, and Mel will tell you, I'm not very easy to live with. It's not that
It's
I'm
not that you're not easy to
horrible.
live with. It's not that. It's just there are days where, how do I explain it? But I don't want this all to be about you, though.
No,
You know,
it's fine.
I mean, there are days where I'm like, okay, like he'll wake up and I can just tell. I'll wake up. We'll both wake up at the same time, and I can just tell that something's not right. Like whether he didn't get enough sleep, or maybe he had a bad dream, or something along those lines. And I'll be like, "Hey, honey, so everything okay? Did you sleep okay?" And I mean, I can just tell when something's not right because he'll have. It's hard. How do I explain this? He'll have his reaction is like off. You know, he'll say to me, "No, not really," but it's hard to explain how he is. He's just like, I just don't want. Don't worry about it. That's what he tells me. He'll say, "Don't worry about it." And so my initial thought process is, well, okay, now I'm worried. Like, what's going on? Like, did I do something wrong? And I know it has nothing to do with me. But I'll be like, so what's going on? And he doesn't always want to tell me. He's like, I don't want to talk about it right now. So, like I said, the initial time, my initial, fight or flight response will be, okay, so what did I do wrong? What did I do to piss him off? And sometimes he'll tell me, when the time is right, he'll go ahead and he'll explain to me, okay, well, this is what's going on. And it could be something as simple as, a bad, like, a traumatic experience that happened years ago that just came to his mind. And at that moment, and I'm like, well, I thought we were past certain things, or, I thought you got past that, from at that point. I guess the thing about mental health is when you have anxiety issues and depression issues and all different sorts of issues, you never really get over anything. It's kind of like with you for, I guess, the remainder of the time that you're on Earth until you pass away. I don't really know, but it's hard. It's hard. It can be hard on a partner who's trying to be there for you, and who's trying to get to the bottom of what's going on with you. Me, on the other hand, I have my share of problems mentally, but I'm more of a listener. I listen to everybody else instead of myself most of the time. It's not because I don't want to share what's going on with me. It's just because I just look at it sometimes like, I don't know. It's just, I feel weird. I feel awkward about sharing things like that,
I'll tell you guys this much: is the difference between me and her. And this is a big difference here. Mel cares, but if Mel's got something to say to you, she doesn't give a fuck.
No, it's not that I don't give a fuck.
You'll tell someone. You'll tell someone like it is.
I'm honest.
You're honest. And me, I don't. I'm not trying to say that I'm not honest with it. I'm more of like, because will I hurt their feelings if I say this or this and that? And I'm the one that kind of, I plan before I say. Now, when I'm angry, I don't plan what I say at all. I do now, but back then I used to be a loose cannon, and I would say whatever the hell was on my mind and not care. And
afterwards. Sometimes he still does to this day.
And I still do.
Anyway, but yeah, so like when it comes down to living with someone who has issues, I don't even like calling them problems. It can be an upward, downward spiral.
When they're battling their demons.
It's just a lot to deal with.
When they're battling their demons would be a better way of describing it.
Okay.
And here's the thing too, and with Meldo, she's very, when she does tell you something honestly, Papa Kev, Mommy Mel, and Papa Kev.
Yeah. If only. Not parents yet, that's for sure.
No, but the one thing about Meldo is that she does this thing where I found it absolutely fucking hilarious. But she'll come in, she'll see something on there. Like, for example, when I was editing FW Nitro.
We love you too, Mike.
We love you too, man. When I was editing Nitro, she saw me, somebody wanted to have a song on there. And her first reaction is, what the fuck is this shit? And it was just blatant, but it was fucking hilarious when she said it. I was
when I hear something that just doesn't seem, I don't know if it's like, what, who the fuck picks out this shit? I'm like, a theme song. I'm like, that's the song you're picking out for your character. That's the kind of thing you want to wear. Okay, whatever floats your boat. But none of it matches to me. And I'm like, and I will blatantly just flat out say, the hell is that? I have no filter in a lot of ways. I mean, I try and keep it under wraps, but I really don't.
That's why I'm going to make this little announcement here, and we'll get back into it. We are working on something big. Mel and I will be hosting an interview that's going to have not only the insane Courtney Peterson on there, but it's also going to have Kayla on there as well. Um, it was actually Courtney's idea, believe it or not. Anybody can say what they want to say. It was Courtney's idea. But we're working on getting that going because we got, you gotta let these ladies speak. And Mel here, on the other hand, is a very, if she does say something to you in a very sarcastic way, and she is like a female Deadpool, there is no doubting that in my mind.
All right. Well, at least you're honest about it.
Some
people don't even have the balls to do that.
See, there's some people that we've been friends with for years that still don't necessarily get Mel's humor.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, like they'll sit there and they don't know what.
I think that's amazing. I'm glad you were honest about it. Thanks.
They have this thing where Mel gets very so say something very sarcastic, and when she says it's sarcastic, they think that she's joking.
I see the thing about it, and now you're just giving away all my shit.
Mostly.
That's what you're doing. You're giving away my fucking secret, you douche canoe.
Well, when she, pretty much, there's always a hint of truth into her madness.
Well, I mean, I'm not sarcastic about everything. There are times when I am pretty serious about things, but I do know how to have fun at the same time. Barbie girl, though, really. There we go. I had to say it. Oh, no. Really? You want me to do that? So you really want me to do my impression of someone from the former wrestling show, who just can't seem to get it through her thick skull that, she's not the best female on the planet when it comes to the indie scene. But that's okay. She can think what she wants to, but she really sucks at it, okay? That may not have been my best impression.
No, it's not your best one,
but
no,
it was close. It was close.
That was pretty good.
But yeah.
Pretty spot on.
I mean, when you want to impersonate certain people, you have to listen. You have to follow. You have to just listen to how they talk. And you have to get real nasal.
She sounds like,
and you have to sound you're from, well, no, she's from Chicago, so therefore you have to where she lives in Chicago, so you have to kind of go in real nasal like this, and it has to be slow, but you have to be real loud too. Okay. Yeah. I could do that all day long. All day long.
I mean, I usually turn that sound out.
So do I. Trust me. Just listening to it is enough to make me want to blow my brains out. Anyway.
No, but yeah, the biggest thing too is with the big thing with our marriage, and there's a little or in our relationship that's different than other people.
No, you don't. I have family that lives in Chicago. That's from Chicago and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and no, not even close. But it's like I said, I can pick up accents or fake accents or whatever the hell you want to call it pretty fast. I mean, I've been living in Tennessee now for 20 years.
Again, it happens.
When I'm around Southern folk, I tend to talk a lot like them, even though I'm not from Tennessee. I'm actually a Yankee, so don't hate on it. Don't hate on it. But I am a Northerner, so yeah. I mean, it may not sound like I'm from the North, but I am.
Well, the biggest thing too, and we don't really talk about this very much. Hey, what's up, Leon? We don't really talk about this very much, but you know, Mel and I, when we did do wrestling back in the day, you know, the one thing though about Mel is very good at. She will never. She's not going to go out there and brag about it. That's the one thing about her. But
I don't even like watching myself on camera.
that's something else that she.
And
has to
that's
do.
another thing too. Whenever Kev does live streams or whatever, and I'm a part of it, I don't like seeing myself. That's why you may see me technically like look away from. I don't like watching myself talk. I don't like even hearing myself talk. So
Olden son. But the one thing about Mel compared to someone that she was talking about a while ago, um, Mel is very good at selling and doing things, but she doesn't
well,
come.
the
But
thing
she
about
she
it is
doesn't come on here and brag about it. She doesn't brag that she's the hottest.
why would I brag about something that I mean, I know I've always been taught, and this is true. I've always been taught that there's always someone out there who's bigger and better than you, no matter how long or how
So have
far
I been.
you've been
I've been taught that
in
too.
some kind of business. I mean, I've been working in the retail industry for close to 20 years or so. Actually, it's been 20 years. And I know there's always people that are bigger and better than what I do. You know, do I deserve, certain things that I haven't gotten in over time? Yes. But I never look at myself. I don't have a big ego at all. And anybody who thinks that has a big ego about something that they're not even remotely educated in, I mean, those kind of people, in my opinion, need a rusty spork up their ass. Heavily.
You mean like the Slipknot Rusty Sport? Like
Yes.
something
No,
really
those
metal.
are more like leather sporks.
Oh,
So.
leather sports, yes.
But no, I'm just saying it's just when you bring yourself to the level of I'm better than everybody else, and you literally go to shows and make yourself, give yourself that outing of I don't care what anybody thinks of me because I'm this and I make more money than you and blah 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 blah. Well, nobody cares. Honestly, God, nobody cares how much money you make because in the real world, you have bills you have to pay regardless.
Yep.
And when you start, increasing, when you start to, what's the word for it? When you have a reputation of being just a typical asshole, people are going to look at you differently. And I have no respect for anybody who disrespects any form of any kind of, industry when they know nothing about it.
I like what PK Mike said right here. It was a defense mechanism to stop people from getting close. That's exactly what. That's the reason why we considered those people narcissistic, and a lot of that has to do with a defense mechanism. Because if you've been hurt before, a lot of people use things as defense mechanisms to kind of hide the real them, and you could definitely tell that those two that we're talking about are very insecure with themselves. And they may not look it on the video, and they may not look it on their photos and whatever else, but these two are the very most insecure people that you can know.
No, I met more insecure people than them. And
Well,
I never even met them.
You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying I've met more insecure people than they. I mean, I never even met them, and I can pick. The thing about me is the fact that I'm more of an observer. I analyze people, I read people, and I can genuinely tell from after a couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks of really getting to talk to somebody or really getting to know somebody if they're worth being in my circle of friends or not. To be honest with you.
PK said, when I was younger, I was afraid to lose people. Oh, that thing popped up there. I was afraid to lose people, so I tried to stop them from getting close to me. Mixture of insecurity and PTSD for me losing my cousin. And that's another thing too, PK. I'm glad you mentioned that, because when people think of PTSD, they automatically think they have to be military and everything else. But no,
PTSD comes in all forms.
Yeah, it comes in all forms. And You
I mean,
know,
I'm not really sure where that thought process came from, but okay.
I've heard people say that before.
I've
Like,
never heard anybody say that. That it's only military based. I mean, you can have PTSD just from a lot of different things, really.
you can have PTSD, like if you were ever robbed, like with a gun and stuff like that. You can get PTSD from that. You can get PTSD from losing someone, being yelled at. When I was younger, I was yelled at quite a bit, and so now when people raise their voice at me now, I get very my PTSD comes out, and I get very snappy back because I do not like being yelled at, and then I will yell back out of the defense because I feel like I'm back. I feel like sometimes when PTSD happens, I feel like you're trapped in the moment that when it happened to you before. It's almost like a mental trap, like a trap of you're stuck in the same exact bubble that you were when it happened. It's almost like your memory takes you back.
In other words, you're in a time capsule.
Right. And that's where I feel like a lot of problems.
See, me, I have my moments too. But the thing about it is that I also try and channel my energy to more positive things so that I'm not always focused on the negative all the time. And that's pretty much what gets me by. Not everybody can do that, but I try to. I really do. I really try to channel my energy in a more positive way because I look at it like you can't live your life in the negative all the time. Because if you live your life in the negative all the time, you're not really living. But that's just my thought.
And one of the biggest things, I know we did a couple paranormal talks on here already, but one of the things that I would love to study on paranormal is whether or not paranormal has anything to do with people's mental health. And
I believe it does.
And I feel like that's one of the
But
biggest things
the
I
thing
would like
about
to
it,
figure
there's a
out.
lot of people out there who don't believe in that type of world. And you can't expect everybody to believe in it, and that's okay.
I grew up with a family who well, my mom's side of the family were very church going people. And they when I first got diagnosed with having anything mental health related, they did not accept me well. Except for my grandmother and maybe one of my uncles, and that's it. But everybody just looked at me differently, and it was tough. And because those people didn't believe in something like that, they didn't think that something like
Well,
that exists.
unfortunately, I'm not trying to be nasty about this group of people, but the boomer generation generally don't believe in
The
stuff
parents'
like
generation,
that.
yeah,
The parents' generation generally don't believe in that sort of thing.
they
It's a foreign thing. They just don't think about that. So
it is one of those things too where and then plus when you get those deja vu moments, when you're dreaming about something and then something happens to you in person that happened into your dream. That is
that I've
something
never experienced.
I've
But I've
experienced.
had
That
deja
before.
vu dreams before. I've had recurring dreams. I've had ones that I've started off where they started where they left off from a previous dream, and I'm like, how the hell did that even? How does that even? How does that even work? But I have. I mean, it's like okay, where your previous dream ended, a new dream starts. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, and it may not always be like the best one to think about either. So
Now, me and Mel, we don't really going back to something we were talking about earlier. One one thing we don't talk about our internet wrestling days
no,
very much,
I. Mhm.
and that's by design. But I can tell you this much: um, Mel is a very physical. She's a very physical person.
I used to not be.
He used to not be.
I don't know what happened, but I used to never. I mean, I didn't grow up in a fighting with a fighting mentality. I wasn't trained. I wasn't taught how to defend myself, and I don't know if maybe that has anything to do with it. But I'm very competitive mainly against with other females, depending on like the female. I don't know. How do I just? I'm not sure where it came from, honestly, but
She had more. The reason why we had a couple of females back then we did some stuff with. Mel was very much when we used to train or when we used to teach them how to do things. I used to love when Mel was there because Mel would look at them and go, "No, no, 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 no! Don't you fucking smile! Don't you do that!" And she'd be a damn drill sergeant with them, and I was loving
well, the
that.
problem was the fact that people that we used to work with back in the day were pretty. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they were pretty stupid.
They were, yes.
I mean, not all of them, but some of them were, and I just didn't think that they deserved the time of day to even have a second chance with working with us and all that kind of stuff. But they did.
With the ghosts. And the one thing too is Mel's more she liked wasn't anything about the females, but she enjoyed working with the guys more because they were able to be more physical and they kind of matched the physicality level.
See, I'm not the competitive person where I feel like I'm a tough girl if I work with a dude. I'm not that way at all. I just
See, that's the thing. People wanted to know this, but Mel didn't really start watching wrestling until we got together. So that was like 2006. That question.
What do you mean?
Reiterate the question, Travis, because I think if you're asking about the one on Facebook, we have so many messages right now. I'm trying to even look at what you were talking about, so you may have to reiterate it just for us, and we'll answer your question. But yeah, I mean, the one thing is that like I said, when I was always taught by my dad too. One of the things that I was taught.
See, he was taught how to defend himself. I wasn't.
Yeah, I was definitely a rough. I was a rough kid.
He's got the fighting mentality. I don't. Like I look at it like it's not. I just don't like fighting. Period.
Well, in the type of neighborhood that I had to live in, maybe the same poverty that I had to live in, there's times where I had to fight and I had no choice, and that still stands with me to this day. I mean, I don't go out looking for fights now, and when I worked security, I definitely didn't. But I'm serious, I shit you not, people would definitely want to fight you when you put that security shirt on. They wanted to rumble with you because they thought it was some kind of Roadhouse movie, and I'm sitting there like, this ain't Roadhouse. This is real life, and but if you come at me, I'm gonna choke you the fuck out. So that's the biggest thing that most things happen. I mean, and I don't like, people who talk shit online. I mean, I'm gonna clarify that too. People who talk shit online, you have got to be some of the dumbest motherfuckers on the world because you can talk all that shit to someone online until you see them face to face. Don't sit there and be a little keyboard warrior and typing all your shit or talking on a video because a video like this isn't talking shit either. You're not looking at the person face to face when you say something. The Travis thing. I met a woman who said that she was most recently
going through a divorce. I decided not to pursue her because of that. I'm thinking about dating due to possibility. Did I do the right thing staying out of it, potentially dating her? It was messed up forever.
You want that first from me?
I remember who said she was most recently going through a divorce. Well, see, the thing is that I believe that everybody deserves an opportunity. Whether you're recently divorced or not, because you never know. Because here's something for you, Travis. Before me and Kev officially became an item, we were seeing two other people.
Mm-hmm.
We were literally in a relationship with two other people. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was in a relationship. He was in a relationship. I mean, he wasn't really in a relationship, but he was. Okay. Yeah, he was. And we ended up subsequently cheating on our significant others with each other.
On my birthday.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
I'm not condoning. I'm just saying that when it comes down to dating somebody who's recently divorced, or at least giving them a shot just to see what they're about, it can't hurt. You know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm not saying what you did was necessarily wrong, that you might have missed your opportunity, but you might have missed your opportunity. Because not everybody who's freshly out of a divorce, I mean, depending on, you know, if the divorce was, you know, finalized or what have you, people do it all the time. You got to leave your options open if you want to give somebody a chance. Or because you never know if that opportunity is going to pass you by, because you only got one life to live. So I look at it like this. If you have a chance to reach out to that person, if you know who that person is, if you're able to reach back out to that person again and say, hey, you know, would you like to try and go out sometime and just see what it's like? Give it a shot, you know? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. At least you know you tried. At least that person knows they tried, you know? That's just how I look at it. But I just have that kind of mentality. So I hope that answered your question.
I guess he wants us to both answer it. So.
Okay, go ahead.
If the one thing that would be the biggest key into me dating someone like that, if I was in your situation, Travis, if I was to date a woman who just recently is divorced, I would want to know. What I would want to know is the ink dry? And what I mean by is the ink dry? Is she officially divorced from the guy or not? That'd be the first thing. Number two,
But I mean, even if it isn't, okay.
Number two, like Mel said, I would give it a shot. And the reason why I would want to give it a shot is because you do never know. I mean, you know, worst case scenario, that woman is still in love with her ex-husband or her recent divorced husband. Worst case scenario. Another worst case scenario, it doesn't work out between you and her. But the best case scenario is that you took a shot and that shot worked. And then you were able to be with that person and actually build something for that. Let's see what she say here. I do believe in second chances. I just had an uncle who dated a woman who had an ex-husband who she was divorced. Then the ex kept coming back around her, even a few times. He attacked him. He said,
but everybody's different, though. Just because that person did it doesn't necessarily mean that the person that you wanted, that you know you're interested in, is going to do the exact same thing. You have to give people a chance.
As a man,
that's just how I look at it, though.
From a man's perspective of that, and this is just my perspective of it, is yes, when a woman divorces a man and that man is, like, say for example, that man cheated on her. Oh yeah. But see when a man, say for example, that man cheated on her with another person.
But do you know I'm just wondering if he knows if that woman was officially divorced or not, like if it was, you know, dry ink or not.
Did you know that he was divorced or not? Did you know that she was officially divorced or not? That'd be the first thing.
Right. Well, I was wondering if, like, you know, if he knew that, if he knows whether or not she was officially divorced or not.
Speaking of what happened to your uncle, depending on how the man and woman divorced, like say for example, that man cheated on her, so she divorced him, and then the woman that he had an affair with ends up not being with him. Yes, sometimes men will try to go back and they see that woman's happy and they want to ruin it, and they will come back and they'll try to reclaim what they think is still theirs. There are some men out there that are like that, but you can't choose. You can't tempt fate by what ifs.
Based on what ifs, even though we do sometimes tend to do that.
I mean, that's the thing. You can't tempt fate. You can't just sit there and be like, hey, well, I'm scared because this happened to my uncle, or I'm scared because this happened to this person. I
The
mean,
thing about it is if we all were afraid of taking risks, we'd never get anywhere in life.
Yep.
That's how I look at it. We would never get anywhere.
I mean, that's the biggest thing. I
I
mean,
mean,
yeah,
you just have to take the risk that, worst case scenario, it's just not what you thought it would be. Best case scenario is everything that you thought it would be.
best case scenario, you date a woman who's divorced and her ex husband tries to come back while you're dating her. You have to trust the fact that she can handle it, and you have to trust her. If you can't trust
I
her,
just look at it like this, if he's able to get in contact, if he's still interested in her, if he's even able to, if
right?
he has to be willing to make that next step. I can't stand.
Well, here's the question for
Well,
you.
here's another thing too. Here's one more thing too.
That's-
Can't be the talker. Don't be the talker. Don't talk your ears off like crazy. You know how you tend to like to, this is nothing against you, Travis, but you are a talker. You have a very high opinion of things. That does tend to turn some women off. I'm just saying, if you want to get to know someone, you have to let them talk too. You have to be able to listen to other people and what they have to say. So, not all women are bad. Not all guys are bad, but not all women are bad, okay? So, if you get that chance, take it. Because you never know if you're going to get that opportunity again.
Well, my question to you, Travis, is how do you know if it's too late? I mean, I know you didn't go out with her, but is she dating somebody else now, or is she still single and she's divorced? I mean, you don't know whether or not you've ruined that chance unless you go back and reach out to her and talk to her and say, "Hey, look, this." Be honest with her too. Say, "Look, the reason why I didn't want to date you at first because I was feeling this way." And I let my own fears get the best of me, but now I'm ready to see where this goes. Worst case scenario is she can tell you no, or she can give you a chance.
Okay. So it was just the one time. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So really,
okay.
you have not. You're fine. But if it happens to where you're able to, if it happens again, I mean, you can't expect people. You can't expect it to happen. It'll happen when it happens. Everybody's always like, I just want to search for love. Don't search for it. Just let it come to you. It might take a while, but fuck it.
See, that's the
Just
problem.
live your life. People are
That-
so like
Afraid
to
to be
get into-
alone. Yeah, afraid to be alone.
I know that you're afraid of being. I know people are afraid of being alone. I mean, I
That's the
don't really
problem.
know what it's like to be alone myself either. In it, because I've never really been alone before I moved to Nashville, so I really don't know what it's like. So I really don't have any room to talk in that department. But I look at it like relationships can be complicated, but they can also be fun too.
Well, let me say something too. You said earlier when we were dating in different relationships when me and you got together, but let me clarify that to people that don't sit there and think, "Oh my God, you both, dear,
Say what?
dear, my God, they cheated on somebody." Let me clarify that. Um, I was in love with Mel when I first met her. When we were friends, I mean, we're still best friends now. But when she was dating another guy, I was in love with her then. But I'm not the kind of person who was going to try to steal the other person away from somebody else. That's just not who I am as a person. It organically happened to where me and her started hanging out a lot. Me and Mel started falling in love with each other. We started hanging out. We started laughing. We started making memories together. And when she moved with him to another state, I got bored. So yeah, I started dating around, and then I not try. This is going to sound horrible, but it's the truth, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I dated this one girl. I dated this one girl because I was bored. I was bored waiting. I was waiting for Mel, but I was bored in the process. So I started to think, like, maybe I just might have a little bit of fun, see what's out there, and whatever the case may be. Because I was in a relationship before me and Mel got together. Actually, I was engaged to be married at one point. So I I took Mel's advice, and I went single for a while, and I went out there and I dated, and I saw what was out there. Then I started to realize, what is it that I really want in a woman? And what I really wanted in a woman, I saw, but I knew that she was untainable. But I also knew that that guy that she was dating was going to be making mistakes, so I was waiting for him to make the mistakes. And the one time she came up for my birthday, she came up and visit. Mel came up and visited me, and I had to know, is there something there? And me and her kissed, and yeah, there was something there. All right, I had to hold back because she was wanting to keep going. I was the one that had to hold back because I was like, you're still in a relationship with him, so let's see how this goes. But we knew right then. I mean, I already knew beforehand, but we had to make sure that it was everything that me and Mel has done. We've done organically. It's not been like planned out or this and that. It's all been organic. And organically is one of the biggest keys to building any relationship whatsoever.
Well, communication,
Communication's another.
trust.
Trust.
And
Well-
anytime things are going on in the chat, my husband can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Okay. I'm actually glad he mentioned that because I'm born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been born and raised here. I've lived here for all 40 years of my life right now. And I've dated girls that lived here in Nashville and then girls that lived in Tennessee. And I can honestly tell you, Mel is not from Tennessee. She's from New Jersey. So yeah, I married and I got in a relationship with a woman who's not from here. So when you said your brother's wife's from Louisiana and he's from Texas, it makes all the sense in the world. Because most times you do find your mate that's from a different place. Now they may move to Texas and you meet them, but that doesn't mean they're.
Sometimes people meet their own mates from different states. It just happens that way.
It happens that way, yeah. That's just how it is. I mean, sometimes there might be girls in Texas. There might be girls where you live at in the Dallas area. Or
I don't
Fort
call
Worth.
them girls or women
Women.
because if you're of a certain age, you're considered a.
Well, the women, when you have like the women over there and like where you live at, if you've seen them and you know how they are.
But you can't. The thing about it is that not all girls are the same. Not all women are the same.
It's not really crazy. It's not really crazy, Travis. It's fate. It's pretty much. I always believe things happen for a reason. Mel believes that. Mel's one of the biggest things you say. Things happen for a reason. If
Everything happens for a reason.
If you're single right now, it is for a reason.
There's a reason why you're single. It's not because the fact that you're not good enough for somebody. It's not because that nobody's worthy of you or anything like that. It's because you're just not meant to be in a relationship at the moment. Doesn't mean that you're not worthy of anybody. It just means that your time is not your time right now.
Right.
To be involved with anyone.
That's
okay.
Yeah,
that's perfectly fine. That doesn't make you any less human because of that.
And things happen for a reason. Like faith happens. It was 2005 around March or April. When MySpace was popular, I was sitting there and Melissa messaged me because she was looking for friends in the area. And
yeah, my ex at that time was not social at all. He was not a social person whatsoever. And I was just kind of tired of not being, because the people that I used to associate myself with moved on. They like one of my good friends at one point moved to another state. And another one of my good friends that I've known for a long time, went to the Marines, and I just didn't have anybody. You know, like most of my good friends just, you know, kind of went away. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. One day I was, you know, on the computer and I decided to just do a little bit of browsing. I wasn't trying to look for a relationship. I was just trying to look for some friends. And I was going through MySpace profile, just seeing who was out there. I mean, I was looking at females too, just looking at whoever I could find. And I was like, you know what? I need a dude friend. I just need a guy friend. You know, I've got a couple female friends, whatever. I just need somebody that I can just talk to or whatever. And I went through about 50 profiles before I came across Kev's. And I was like, man, this guy's cute, you know? And I mean, I looked at it like, man, I didn't think anything. I was like, this. If I write this guy, he's not going to write me back. He's not even going to look twice at me. He's not going to do anything of the sort. But I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to give it a chance. I'm going to give it a shot and hope to God that, you know, he's interested in talking to me as a friend and so forth. And so I did. I took a risk. I took a chance. And before I knew it, I got a response back. I think like maybe a day or two later. I can't recall exactly how long. But yeah, he wrote me back and he was like, yeah, I'm Kevin. I'm from Nashville. You know, I'm looking to make some new friends too. And, you know, we exchanged, you know, I told him what my name was, told me what his name was, and like what we were into. We talked for a couple days before we actually made any kind of contact as far as getting to meet each other. But I think it was maybe 2 weeks at the most, not even 2 weeks. And I said, hey, you know, do you want to, you know, meet up sometime? I work here at this place and so forth. And, you know, if you have a way of getting there, whatever the case may be. I mean, I didn't even think twice about anything related to his personal stuff or anything like that. I was just like, hey, you know, this is where I'll be at this time. If you want to come see me, let's meet that way. And next thing you know, one thing leads to another. I was working at a place called Sunglass Hut at the time when it was really popular. And it was in a mall. And I remember the day that, you know, we met, and I saw him before he saw me. I did. I saw him before he saw me from a distance, and I'm like, damn, this guy's hot, you know? And I was like, I probably shouldn't be thinking this way, but I did. Because I was already in a relationship at the time with another guy, but that's how we met. So.
Well, he said I did miss an opportunity in 2007. This woman was into me in Hammond, Louisiana. I met. She was a manager at a utility beauty store, and I was there with my mom, and she was shopping and visiting my brother.
Yeah, there's reasons why people are saying, "Oh, that's true." We want to be in a good commitment, monogamous relationship, in fact. No, it's never too late. I mean, just because, you know, you think like, man, I'm just getting too old, you know, to be with someone. No, some people get together when they're in their 50s and 60s, you know. If the timing is right and the stars were aligned and it's time for you to be involved with someone, that'll happen. But don't think because you're not involved with someone that means that you're not the right, you know, you're not meant to be in a relationship with anybody. Some people actually live their whole lives without being in a relationship with anybody. You know?
Well, here's something for you, Travis. Texas, you live in Texas. Texas is a big state.
Yes, it's a very big state.
Just because you may not meet a girl in your particular area doesn't mean you can't meet someone more in San Antonio or more in, you know, Austin or things of that nature. Because Texas is a huge state, and it's there's things like that there. I mean, I know it looks like the common denominator is that most couples meet each other and they're from different states, like they're born in different states.
That's not always the case. I mean,
it's not always the case.
Heck, you know, Kev's parents met here together in the same state, in the same city.
And they've been married for 45 years. They've been married
for almost 46 years. So
45.
Okay, sorry. 45. You get me.
He said, I don't feel insecure about not having a wife or girlfriend. I currently believe it or not, I just had a share about
that woman I met. Okay, well, we appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm sorry that it's taken me so long, you know, that it took me forever to respond back about that. It's I've been busy in life lately, and just, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about it. It wasn't intentional, but I hope that kind of answered your question a little bit.
And she's better at getting advice than Stephen Rose. Yeah. And you heard that too, Stephen Rose. You know, the one thing about him, I have to say this about you, Stephen. I know that you watch my stuff and I watch you and I watch some of your stuff. Some of your videos about people's body, like whether people are insecure about their body types and this and that, I'm sitting there thinking, where the hell do you come up with this shit? I mean, yeah, there's people who are going to be insecure with their body. Someone can have the 6-pack abs and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 70s and still can have insecurities with something. It's not about whether or not
nobody is perfect.
No one's perfect, yeah. And the fact that people,
but there are things that man does say that I'm just like, seriously, have you ever been in a relationship? Because clearly you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And this is my own personal view of this whole situation. Unless you've been in a relationship, like a real full-blown relationship, you don't really have any room to comment on something like that. And that's one of the things that drives me nuts about Stephen Rose is he'll make videos about relationships. I'm like, dude, when was the last video, like full-blown relationship you've ever actually been in?
What do you think?
Covering it up, I don't know.
Oh, Stephen Rose. But really, Steve saw me meet a woman
before, since he was coming up Dallas quite a bit the past year. Huh?
Yeah, I don't question you on that, Travis, but any man that comes to see you a bunch of times in Dallas, you have to question his sexuality just a little bit. I'm just kidding. Maybe no. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But no. You said that Fort Worth, Texas, is more of a country town. Actually, you'd be surprised at some of those country town ladies might have some really good manners. I know he's not like that. But some of those Fort Worth girls could have Fort Worth women could have a lot of good manners, and they can have a lot of good qualities in a partner that you may or may not think that you would never think in a million years. Oh shit, should I marry a country woman or something, or a southern, or you'd be surprised at what you can find. So there you go. The thing with Mel and I was we had a lot in common, but there was things that we didn't have in common, and the things we didn't have in common, we taught each other. We were willing to learn what the other one likes, and that. Okay. And that's one of the things that really strikes is that there are some people in some relationships. We have some friends that are like this, and I'm not going to name their names for personal reasons. But I feel like there's some friends that we have who are in relationships that will date a person and they will change their entire well-being to match that person. Like they will change their entire thinking process, their entire this and that, and you could just tell that it's genuinely fake. The best thing about a relationship is if you are true to yourself and they are true to themselves, and your trueness both come together, and whatever you guys don't agree with, it's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to. Now, I will tell you, Travis, I wouldn't get with a liberal girl if I was you. I wouldn't get with one who's a Biden fan. That would be a little, that'd be a little fucked up for you. But I did meet a woman at the Grapevine Mills Mall when me and Stephen.
He has to read it out loud.
Oh, well, hey, see where that goes. You still talk to her occasionally, see where it goes. But anyway, about the end of here in a minute. But yeah, honestly, that's really kind of.
But honestly, Travis, did I answer your question from previously? I can't remember if you said yes or I did or not. Or no.
I don't know if you did or not.
I don't think he responded back to it yet.
Hopefully we helped on that one, Travis, because I know that Mel was supposed to answer it earlier, but truth be told, sometimes she tends to forget about things, and it's okay. It's not a big. It's just just how she is. If there's a lot of things going on in her head at the moment, she forgets about certain things. But hopefully, we answered your question here on that, because that way you can understand, you know, how it goes. I mean, we're about to celebrate 11 years being married, and that's, I know some people may not look at that as a milestone, but for us, it is a milestone, and it is something that, yeah, he said, yeah, you both helped me. Thank you to
No,
both
you're
of you.
welcome. Just making sure.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. When you change yourself when you change yourself politically to match a person who is not politically matched with you, that is a real bad thing. I'm sorry you and your friend stopped being friends after that, because I mean I can understand why you would have a problem with that. But anyways, I'm glad we answered your question. We'll do more of these later. I mean, I was gonna do this on Facebook, on the Facebook group, but Mel didn't want to be.
No, I just didn't feel like being seen tonight. That's all.
Yeah, we just didn't want to be seen tonight, and so biggest thing I can tell anybody is hopefully when you guys watch these videos, you guys can understand in the comments down below. You can always post questions on there. Sometimes I don't see the comments. I don't know why. YouTube has this weird thing where I don't always see the comments, and I don't know why I don't always see them. I don't have it set up that way. But yeah, we'll come back and we'll do some of these things here, and eventually I'll start getting more into conversations about what's going on in the real world, because I kind of want to join in on these conversations. And I've seen a couple of videos Stephen Rose done, and I feel like I need to kind of respond to some of them, because some of the things he said I agree with, some of the things that he said I did not agree with. And I'll answer that eventually. But for now, this is Mel and this is Kev. This is the Nightcap with the Williams Late Night Talk here.
Nice to speak with all of you guys tonight.
Nice to speak with all you guys tonight, even if it was 2 or 3 of you.
It's been fun.
It's been fun, and
hope we got some stuff. Hopefully some of the things that we've mentioned have clicked with some people who may or may not have been listening. But if you guys have any other questions, you can always contact us, and we'll try our best to answer them the best way we know how. I mean, granted, we're not perfect. Nobody is. Our relationship isn't always perfect, but we try.
Our relationship, you don't hear a lot of couples say this, but our relationship is very much way different than everybody else's relationship.
I love our relationship. Don't get me wrong. There are times where we do have our moments. We are not perfect. We do have.
Mm-hmm.
We have moments where we're like, well, it gets personal, but I'm just saying
there's some times
there can be times where it can be very tough, but it's also, I mean, I love this guy. He's my big teddy bear. So,
and the biggest thing too is me and her may not always agree on life situations. Like we might see something on the news and she may think one way of it. I may think a totally different way.
But that's perfectly normal.
And that's perfectly normal. But at the end of the day, we still, we respect each other's opinion and we respect each other's thought process. And, that's just how it is. If people who are Democrats and Republicans can learn to do that and just respect each other's opinion and not fight it out, we'd have a totally different world right now. But people are, I don't like to get political, so I'm not going to jump in on that bandwagon too much. But I will just say this, that if people learn to respect other people's opinions and learn that it's just an opinion, but that's good though, Travis. Just keep trying out. You'll eventually meet Mrs. Staley.
Yeah, and believe it or not, it might actually happen when you least expect it. So that's 9 times out of 10 usually what happens in the first place. And those are the best relationships of them all.
Yep.
It's when you're not expecting it. Those are the best ones, in my opinion.
But anyways, that's Mel. This is Kev. We are out of time. I want to thank everybody here recently who has subbed to Big Kev's World. I have 80 subs now, so it's kind of it's nice that some of y'all have subbed to me on some things, and I really appreciate it. Really appreciate the love. Hopefully we can get to 100 here soon. I mean, I've gotten there before with an old profile, but YouTube's a lot harder nowadays. So what do you say? Yeah, this sad is going to Connor and you voted for Biden and then acted radical because of his girlfriend, and but still gets apparently it's not different. I had issues with any person, like I say, any person that changes their whole entire belief system for someone. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's a busted. If you change your entire outlook on life for one person, that is the most. You're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to that relationship, and you're not being true to your partner. That's just how it is. I mean, there's no way around that.
But I appreciate everything that's been said tonight.
We appreciate everything that's been said tonight. Plus, we're getting close. All you football fans, we're getting close to July, which means we're getting close to training camp. We're going to get close to NFL season starting, and so we'll start doing some more football talks on here and get more of some. I think training camp will be open for the Titans this year. It hasn't been the last 2 years, but maybe I might go to a few this year just to kind of scope out what they look like and how Malik Willis looks, and kind of give my recap on it. It's just very hot out here and I know it is in Texas. I know it's got to be hot there too, but when it gets around July here, it's like fucking scorching, and just getting Mel to come out and actually even want to do some of that stuff is
Say what now?
like going to like a Titans training camp or something. Just because
It's just hot.
Yeah.
The heat around here is insane.
Yeah, well, yeah, it does officially start the Hall of Fame game. So, yeah, but the training camps around here get very, very like hot. There's really no air conditioning part here, where Titans training camp's at. Is really no air conditioning at all. So it's a very like if you don't like the heat, then you definitely are gonna hate being out there. The cool thing is they let you bring drinks and food in there, which is pretty cool. But we'll see. Anyways,
y'all have a wonderful night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting.
Yes.
And if you guys have any other, like I said, questions or suggestions or whatever have you, just post them in the comment section.
If you're on our
share, and subscribe.
And if you are in our friends book, if you're in our Facebook, if you're friends on our Facebook, you can message us on here. But if you're not, you can post a comment on here. I can't guarantee that I will get it because apparently YouTube's acting weird.
There's YouTube shit going on.
So yeah. So
but
hopefully I'll see it, and hopefully everybody has a wonderful
day. You guys have a wonderful night. Ta-ta for now.